Hello there friends, the day has come. Today marks the beginning of the main stage of IEM Cologne, featuring teams like CLOUD9, Navi, G2, Heroic and Vitality, the cream of the tier 1 scene. There have been also lots of news updates, from TSM's current situation to the new Nafany-led team and much more. Oh, we're in for some exciting stuff. So without further ado, let's get straight to it.
Let's start with the unexpected news that came from TSM. According to all the insights and rumors, they were supposed to participate in the upcoming CCT. Dust 2 even found their registration for the tournament, and the lineup was expecting to include Inters, Jax, Valde and Cypher, as we already discussed. But suddenly, bam, TSM withdrew from the tournament, and what's more, Extaz, the coach who assembled the team, announced that he's open to new adventures. Naturally, everyone wondered if the lineup fell apart without playing a single match. They didn't go to the tournament, lost their coach. What's next? However, the same Dust 2 was quick to reassure everyone. According to their sources, the team simply decided to prepare better for the IEM Sydney, which starts in mid-August. Well, we'll have to wait for a bit longer. In the meantime, while some teams are postponing their announcements, others aren't wasting any time. They built it around Tizian, took players from the OG Academy and some other unknown guys. I can't say much about this lineup, but it seems to me like a potential threat in various home sweet home tournaments. One thing I can say for sure is about the next lineup. According to insiders from the Danish scene, a new dream team is coming together. Preezy lineup will look like this: Refresh, Nikodos, Altax, TMB and Tops. It's basically a mix of experienced fighters and hot newcomers, like Altax. In case you didn't know, Altax is the former captain of Astralis Academy, and they say he has a bright future ahead. Overall, this 5-man roster should make some noise. Now let's move on to the interviews. I have two interesting ones, one from Aleksib and the other from Blade. Let's start with the captain. Here's what he said. Who do I communicate with the most in Navi? I talk to JL a lot, but I also have good conversations with others. Will we play Vertigo? It's quite possible, especially considering that a new game is coming out and something might change. It will be something new for many teams, but who knows if Vertigo will even be there in CS2. No one can be sure if this will be a part of the competitive map pool, but it's possible. Now on to what Blade had to say. The departure of 3 players from Navi was not something serious for me. Nothing lasts forever. Over the past year, this lineup has shown that it reached its peak and hit the ceiling. So these roster changes were floating in the clouds. What can I say about Electronic? Denis is definitely the second caller. He himself said that he wants to play only this role. I think he agreed to become the IGL only because Shiro will help him. When many people talk during the game, it helps, but it's not a clear system. Overall, they have a good lineup on paper, but I think people are hyping it too much. We need to see if they can establish a connection in real life, if they are now on the same wavelength. And let's not forget about their playing style. In-game decisions are made quickly, and such experienced players sometimes resist change. I know Denis and Ilya well. I know their strengths and weaknesses. And I understand that they may have some problems. So that's basically how Blade spoke. When Electronic became the new captain of Navi, he stated in all the interviews that he's better than Boomich, potentially the best captain in the world. Electronic brilliantly reads the game and often calls the shots under Boomich's leadership. But now Blade says there are some issues, that Electronic is not really a captain, but rather a second caller. Sneaky Blade. Let's see how it actually turns out in reality. That's all for the news from me. Now it's time to move on to IEM Cologne.
We shall start by reviewing the final day of the playing stage. 8 teams were competing for the last 4 slots in the main stage, and as often happens, there were some surprises. First up, Furia faced Mongols. Furia simply couldn't afford to miss out on advancing to the main stage with their new lineup, especially against a less formidable opponent. However, on the Mongols map pick, Furia looked quite unimpressive. Their defense on Plant A was weak, even though it housed their firepower in Kcerado, Yuri and Fallen. In the second half, when Furia switched to the attack, we saw Brazilian power in action. Art perfectly performed as an entry fragger, and the rest of the team stepped up. They were very close to victory with a score of 15-13. However, after that score, the team just switched off. Furia ended up conceding their Inferno and lost 19-15. But no worries, that was just the opponent's map pick, and now it was on the overpass. Unfortunately, Furia looked terrible there. All the Brazilians ended up in the negative scores, with only Fallen managing a 0 KD ratio. It was a complete disaster. A 16-8 loss on their own map pick, and Furia got eliminated from the tournament, a tragedy for all Brazil. Meanwhile, the Mongols played impressively, making roster changes and still securing their spot in the main stage. Next up, Liquid faced 9, the teams exchanged map picks. Liquid looked strong on their Ancient, securing 9 rounds on the attack. OC and surprisingly Rainwaker played at their best, resulting in the confident 16-10 victory. However, on the following Vertigo, Liquid seemed out of sync. The Poles were dominating, they closed the map 16-6 without giving Liquid a chance. On the deciding overpass, Liquid were in a good position, leading 12-8, but then they seemed to lose focus. I have no idea what happened to them. Their attack was so poor that there's nothing even worth showing. With this level of play, they had no chance in Cologne. Liquid falls 2-1 and drops from the tournament, while 9 once again proves that they have outgrown their tier 2 level. And finally, we have just 2 matches left. The first one is OG versus Apex. OG stepped up and demonstrated how to play CS, finally. They secured a convincing 16-6 victory on Mirage and dominated the first half on Inferno with a 12-3 score. It was such a strong performance from OG that I started believing in Nexa again. He formed a new team and immediately made it to the main stage of the tournament, an excellent result for OG. The last play-in match was NIP versus Imperial. I don't even want to talk about the first 2 maps, because they were just unimpressive at all and not interesting. On Overpass, NIP followed in Liquid's footsteps and simply stopped playing when the score was 12-8. They lost all rounds in the attack and moved on. However, on their own Ancient, NIP didn't give the Brazilians a chance and closed up the map 12-3. The deciding map, Nuke, turned into real drama. NIP was confidently leading 13-7 and seemed on the way to victory. However, their attack somehow stalled, and the Brazilians, on the other hand, started to excel in each round. Somehow, Imperial managed to force the game into overtimes. After that, they failed to secure a single round, rendering all their efforts in vain. HLTV released some post-game photos, and you can see how Haney couldn't hold back his tears. He was so passionate about this comeback. In the end, no Brazilian player made it to the main stage. Congratulations to NIP, they have the ability to switch lineups back and forth and still make it to the main events. Now, the main stage Cologne bracket is before you. Group A is slightly easier, but Group B is a true group of death. We will be witnessing this greatness with you over the next week.
Well, now let's move on to the sweetest part, the main stage of the tournament. All summer, teams have been preparing specifically for this championship, reshuffling rosters and having the best transfer window in history. Let's see where all of this will lead us. And we have an exciting opening match, CLOUD9 versus Fnatic. This match promises to be incredibly intense because you never know what to expect from both teams. Right now, essentially, anyone can defeat anyone, but first let's hear what Electronic said in his first interview as the captain of the new team. There was only one team I wanted to be the captain of, CLOUD9, only this team. I know that this lineup has a lot of potential and excellent players, so it will be much easier for me to build a system and a good team. It was my personal choice. I want to be the best IGL in the world. There are many good captains on the scene, but I want to be one of them. We played only 2 or 3 prac matches with Buster. We hoped that Exile would get his visa, so we barely practiced with Buster. I hope everything will work out with him since he's a good player. We'll give him Exile's positions, so it will be easier for us. So Electronic didn't want to be the captain of Navi anymore and only wanted to join CLOUD9. It seems like Electronic felt confident in his abilities. And you know, so it shall be. Well, for now, things are working out exactly like that. Let's see how he will captain the first match. Now let's talk about Hobbit's words regarding their new lineup. Before the arrival of Electronic and Perfecto during the matches, Nafany, Shiro and I were the ones talking. Now everyone is talking. There's too much noise, but it's for the better. It's better than silence. Perfecto communicates very well. He's a unique player, calm yet energetic. We all need to become better to be on the same level as Electronic in terms of communication and game understanding. The tournament will show everything. We have a lot of firepower, but the matches will reveal it all. Hobbit shows great respect towards Electronic and believes they all need to grow to reach his level. It's fantastic to see such respect for the captain. The most important thing is to have the same attitude in the game. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's CLOUD9’s first official match with the new lineup. Let's watch! And look at what Fnatic is picking. Vertigo, Electronic and Perfecto have absolutely no experience on this map, and they are immediately thrown into battle on it. Well, Daxter is quite cunning. Cloud9 chooses Anubis and Ancient will be the decider. It's an unpredictable map pool, just like the teams themselves. Let's watch and let's go to Vertigo.
Looking at the setup right from the pistol round, we see the following formation. Buster plays on B, Hobbit and Perfecto are in the center, and Electronic and Shiro take A. And that was basically where the attack was heading. The defense was handling the pushes perfectly.
On the last, it's only Crims yet to frag in a 1v2. Perfecto to reposition. Crims, ooh, gets the info, 10 seconds, fakes out, needs to find a frag. Can't do it, Crims down. I just got goosebumps.
Winning the pistol round is good, but Cloud9 is facing difficulties on gun rounds. Electronic and Shiro struggle to win duels, but thankfully their teammates manage the retakes.
It's a problem, and they will take the round. Punishment back. He's having too much fun.
I wish I knew what he was saying.
I know, right?
I wish I knew what he was saying.
It seems that Cloud9 was missing Exile's A-main ability to secure consecutive rounds. Additionally, Electronic is struggling to find his form on Vertigo. But the most important thing is that the guys have a great attitude. They are all smiles and enjoying their time playing CS, allowing Cloud9 to end the first half at 8-7.
Smoke spamming him through. Perfect from Perfecto. Everyone's having a great time.
In the second half, Fnatic wins the pistol round, but on the force buy round with only one AK-47, Hobbit pulls off an ace. This puts the attack ahead with a score of 11-8, but then came the moment that earned Daxter the nickname Saxter. With one move, this guy buried the entire round. He outplayed Hobbit in timing, resulting in Electronic's elimination and securing the bomb at the end of the round. By the way, let's talk about the attack. In principle, everything is as Electronic said. They placed Buster in the same roles as Exile, lurking around B. He's usually covered by Hobbit. Electronic took on Nafany's roles, being the first to enter and sacrificing himself for the team. And just as I said that, Daxter does another 3 kills. Well, at least Cloud9 now has an answer, and it's their best clutcher, Perfecto.
Shot and it gets awkward. B stares down, Afro onto Buster, that's Perfecto, needs another. Look at the time, he gets it! Cloud9, one more from Perfecto, they have to be defusing, doesn't have the kit, they're gonna do it! A 12 round stolen away, and a quad kill from Perfecto. That's cheeky.
That is insane. That just
Look at Groove, I just saw a smile.
You shouldn't be winning. Yeah, you're right, actually.
What an incredibly close game. In the very next round, Afro responds with an aggressive AWP play and single-handedly secures a much-needed round. But another AWP puts an end to the match, this time by Shiro.
Profits with the nade. He started this, and he's going to have to finish it as well. Shiro, 6 HP, adjusts, and closes out for Cloud9.
That's the Shiro we know and love right there. The pressure.
Cloud9 wins their first map with a new roster and a sub. And all this despite Electronic and Perfecto never having played on this map before. Moving on to Anubis by Cloud9. And let's just say that their start wasn't ideal. They only managed to secure their first round when the score was already 6-0. Finally, they converted their open frags into a round win. One problem with the new Cloud9 lineup is that they can't turn their rounds into a streak. Just as they start to gain momentum, they lose the next round. Fnatic is playing super aggressively, constantly pushing all the points, flanking from behind, and it's all working for them. Thankfully, Electronic steps up and decides to win Anubis all by himself. He makes an important triple kill and leaves the defense without economy. Thanks to that, Cloud9 manages to take 6 rounds on the attacking side. However, in the second half, the guys lose the pistol round, so in order to make a comeback, they needed an impeccable defense. Let's see what the setup was like. Judging by the first gun round, Electronic and Buster were playing A, Shiro was in the mid, and Hobbit and Perfecto held B. It looked like they had no weak points in defense. And Cloud9 proves it right away. They win their first gun round without any issues and then 2 more. The comeback has begun. Although it seems that I spoke too soon. Fnatic found a weak spot, it's the A side. As long as Exile isn't there, they can easily enter and take rounds, just as Crims did. He killed Electronic and Buster simply couldn't outshoot him. In a similar fashion, Fnatic takes several more rounds. Buster just couldn't perform well in this map and Shiro's presence was sorely missed. With this level of performance, it will be difficult to win on Ancient. And on the third map, Buster decided to redeem himself after a poor performance on Anubis and won a clutch first on the pistol round and then in a force buy round, which allowed Cloud9 to lead the attack with a score of 5-2. Everything was going according to their plan until the attack made a mistake with the rush towards B. However, Fnatic is not an easy opponent and they managed to handle it. After that, their defense got back on track, winning rounds one by one. By the way, let's talk about the roles in the attack on Ancient. Buster controls A side in every round, while Perfecto does the same on B. He usually plays together with Hobbit. Electronic and Shiro are the main playmakers on the map. Electronic often leads the charge, while Shiro plays for trades. As we can see from the score 7-6 and later 8-6, this approach worked perfectly. The result is 9-6 in the first half, which is considered a very good score in the attack on Ancient. Now, the main challenge is not to fail in defense as they did on Anubis. And just as I thought that, Fnatic won 4 rounds in a row and showed no signs of stopping. The most crucial round happened at 10-12. Fnatic was ahead and they were in a 4v2 situation. It seemed like a GG for Cloud9, but there was one last chance, and his name was Perfecto.
Oh, but Perfecto slinking closer might go overlooked. Afro barrel spotted, but Crims is here, the contingency.
Oh, wow, the jumpy gets the info and Perfecto hits the no-scope!
A 1-on-2!
He has to win it! His teammates furious at themselves, and it's come down to this. Mezzi swings out, great headshot, but it's Perfecto to nail it! And that one is a tilter, Cloud9!
This is exactly why Cloud9 paid $2 million. They wanted players who can single-handedly change the outcome of a match. I can tell you, if it wasn't for Perfecto's clutch, Cloud9 would have lost. Thanks to him, they suddenly took the lead with 13-12. However, of course, it couldn't end that easily. Now Mezzi turns the game in favor of Fnatic. After all the trades, the situation was 3v3. A fully equipped Hobbit goes to pick mid and Mezzi takes him down with just 20 HP. The entire defense collapsed instantly. And the most important thing is that Cloud9 almost ran out of money. And now Fnatic leads 15-14. Overtimes or defeat? Let's see.
Great angle and profitable. Buster to be run down. They swing through. Bomb lost. Cloud9 taking us the distance as overtime looms. And Afro, the last of full OT.
It was intense, but unfortunately I have nothing good to say about the overtimes. Fnatic found weak positions in Cloud9's setup during the main time and understood that their teamwork was not the best. And Afro felt the game, he completely outplayed Shiro. 2-1, Fnatic secures their victory in the main stage. As for Cloud9, they're moving to the lower bracket. To sum it up, Fnatic are incredible performers, while Cloud9 needs to put a lot of work and wait for Exile. Currently, it's obvious that many things are not clicking and the team is playing like 4+1, lacking chemistry. And that's all I wanted to tell you about today, guys. All the other matches we will review in the next video. We have 4 days of some juicy Tier 1 CS in IEM Cologne. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel to not miss anything CSGO and CS2 related. I'm not saying goodbye for a long time. See you soon.